We all have AI assistants, right? They set reminders, play music. But what if they could do so much more? What if one could actually help run your company? Well, that's the incredible promise behind the EVA system, and we're going to break it all down right now.
Now seriously, think about that for a second. We're not talking about just scheduling meetings here. We're talking about an AI that can negotiate contracts for you, manage entire projects from start to finish, and even make strategic decisions right there with you. It sounds like sci-fi, I know, but that's exactly the future DragonSource is building with EVA.
So what is EVA exactly? Okay, the name stands for Executive Virtual Assistant, but don't let that fool you. This thing is a universe away from your typical voice assistant. Think of it as a top-tier AI partner, built from the ground up for executives. Its whole purpose is to automate the heavy lifting, help you make those critical decisions, and really weave itself into the fabric of both your work and your life.
Okay, to really get a grip on what makes EVA so powerful, we have to look at how it thinks. So let's pop the hood, take a peek at its core architecture, because honestly, this is what makes it so different from everything else out there.
So here's what's so cool about EVA's design. It's not just one single AI. It's actually 3 different parts all working together. First, you've got Aether. Think of Aether as the technical brain, always looking out for new research and innovation. Then you have Aurora. And this is interesting. Aurora is all about your wellness and mindfulness, which is a pretty smart recognition that top performance isn't just about spreadsheets and meetings. And then, tying it all together is the EVA core. That's the central intelligence, the executive function that runs the whole show. It's this 3-part system that makes it a genuinely holistic partner.
All right, now we're getting to the absolute heart of the EVA system. This is the big idea. It's 4 levels of autonomy. You can think of it like a journey you go on with the AI, a path that's been really carefully designed to take it from being just a simple tool to becoming a true strategic partner.
So everything kicks off at level 1, which they call assisted mode. The best way to think about this, it's like being a student driver. You are 100% in control. The AI does only what you tell it to do and only when you tell it to do it. No more, no less.
And this balance here really shows you what's going on. Your control, it's cranked all the way up to maximum. EVA's initiative, on the other hand, is basically at 0. It's completely reactive. It just sits there waiting for you to give it a direct order.
So for instance, you'd give it a super direct command, something like send an email to the team. And that's it. EVA does that one thing, and then it just waits for your next command. It's really straightforward, super simple, and you are totally in the driver's seat. Okay, so now let's see what happens when we level up. Welcome to level 2, managed mode. If we stick with that driving analogy, this is kind of like the first time you drive by yourself. You're still the one behind the wheel, but now you're starting to rely on your GPS, right? It's giving you suggestions for better routes, warning you about that traffic jam up ahead.
And you can see here, the balance of power is starting to shift a little bit. You still have a lot of control for sure, but EVA is now starting to show some initiative of its own. It's beginning to recognize your patterns, learn how you work, and it's starting to make some pretty helpful suggestions.
A perfect example, imagine EVA notices your schedule is just slammed. It might pop up with something like, hey, your calendar looks really busy. I can reschedule some of your non-critical meetings for you. See? It spotted a problem and came up with a solution. But, and this is key, it still needs you to say yes before it actually does anything.
All right, level 3, this is proactive mode. And this is where things start to get really, really interesting. Now imagine you've got one of those super advanced cruise control systems. The kind that doesn't just hold your speed, but actually handles traffic, changes lanes for you. All it does is just let you know what it's doing. That's level 3.
At this point, you've made a pretty big leap of trust. As you can see, your direct control is way down because EVA's initiative is way up. It's now starting to actually anticipate what you need based on the context of your day, and it takes action first, then just tells you what it did.
So you might just get a notification that pops up and says, I've prepared tomorrow's presentation for you based on the latest sales data. Think about that. EVA didn't ask for permission. It just saw a need, went and got the info, and put together a complex, super valuable piece of work all by itself. I mean, this is a total game changer.
And that brings us to the final level, level 4, autonomous mode. We're way beyond a self-driving car now. This is like having a personal chauffeur who's also your logistics planner. It's not just driving the car, it's planning the entire trip, deciding where to go, and optimizing the whole schedule for you.
At this stage, the roles have basically flipped completely. Your direct, moment-by-moment control is minimal because you've essentially delegated authority to the system. EVA's initiative is now at its absolute peak. It's operating as a genuine strategic partner, working within the goals and boundaries that you set for it.
And the implications here are just huge. An action at this level could be a message popping up that says, just so you know, I've negotiated the terms on that new contract and secured us a 15% discount. I mean, wow. This isn't just task automation anymore. This is an AI running high-stakes business operations, autonomously.
So these 4 levels are a really fascinating way to think about it. But what does it all look like in practice? You know, when you put it all together, how does EVA actually work in the real day-to-day life of an executive? Let's walk through it.
Okay, so picture this. Your day starts and EVA is right there with a full briefing on what happened overnight in the markets, along with a schedule that's already been prioritized for you. Then, all day long, it's just humming away in the background, feeding you real-time data to help you make better decisions. And when you're ready to wrap up, it gives you a summary of the day's performance and gets everything ready for tomorrow. It's this continuous, seamless loop of high-level support.
So what's the big takeaway here? Why does any of this matter?
Well, the ultimate goal for a technology like EVA, it's not just about making life a little more convenient.
It's about creating a real, measurable, and totally transformative impact on how we perform and how efficient we can be.
Just take a look at these target numbers for EVA's performance. They're pretty staggering, right? The goal here is to automate up to 80% of certain tasks. That could save a top executive around 2 hours every single day. And it does all this while maintaining a 95% accuracy rate. Those aren't just improvements, those are truly transformative numbers.
And all of this really brings us to one final and kind of provocative thought. As systems like EVA get closer and closer to full autonomy, the very nature of what it means to be an executive is probably going to change in a fundamental way. So the big question we have to ask ourselves is this. When your AI is handling the data, the logistics, and even chunks of the strategy, what's left for you to do?